Sometimes fear is the appropriate response. I'm John Redland with a retro review of Nine. This came out in 2009, so I guess that qualifies as retro. And this stars Nine, voiced by Elijah Wood. It's an animated movie in a dystopian post-apocalyptic war-torn future where man and machine have basically killed each other, and it's a pretty goddamn dreary movie. And Nine awakens and must find others like him and unravel this mystery and figure out what actually happened and what their purpose is and why everything seems so dreary. Now, I remember really liking this movie when it first came out in theaters, but I laughed at a lot of parents who got upset that this was advertised as a kids' movie, yet was anything but. This is a pretty goddamn dark animated movie. This is darker than Coraline. I recently retro reviewed that if you want to check that out. But with this, it is a very short movie. I mean, I think once the end credits start, I think it's like 73 minutes. And so it's a nice bite-sized chunk of a movie. But in those 73 minutes, holy shit, this thing is pretty fucking dark. It's also got an all-star cast. Christopher Plummer, John C. Reilly, Martin Landau, Crispin Glover, Jennifer Connelly, and others. And pretty damn good cast here. So basically, Nine awakens, and he can't speak at first. He doesn't know really what's going on. There's a dead body on the floor, an old man, and he's trying to unravel what's going on here. And eventually he meets another character by the name of Two, because everybody's got a number on them, because it's pieces of the scientist's soul that was put into every single one of these dolls. And there's this machine, this beast, that is targeting them, and has taken, ends up taking Two back to this facility, this weird facility where the machine's there, and there's this weird creature that, that is just sitting there completely dead, not doing anything, and it's a weird robot. So Nine ends up also having this weird talisman thing that's got these 3 buttons, and what he does is, in trying to rescue Two after he finds some others, and including, the leader voiced by Christopher Plummer, he decides to go rescue him. Well, in rescuing him, he uses this talisman to reactivate this robot called Brain, which was designed originally by this scientist to put his soul in all these doll bodies, to be this ultimate creation, this great piece of technology, but was weaponized, and because it lacked a human soul, it could be controlled by anybody, regardless of if their intentions were good or evil. And that's really what it is. It's about, man trying to create machine and using machine for his own purposes. And if the purposes are good, technology can work. Unfortunately, they tried to weaponize it, the government did, and things went inevitably tits up. And then some of these dolls start getting dispatched. Their souls get taken into this brain because it's trying to, A, get a human soul, but also learn and take out its enemy, because that's all it knows is how to destroy, because it's a machine, and again, was weaponized. And it is really dark. It is a really dark movie. And I don't mean dark as far as like the color palette and everything, even though it is kind of dreary, but the theme. I mean, you get a lot of death in this, and you get a lot of really, holy shit, and this is a really, really dreary future, a really bad dystopian setting. And there's the typical cliches of, okay, Nine is the new person in the group, so kind of the outcast, but obviously knows some things, but is learning. There's various others. There's a couple that are battlers, that are good warriors, and then there's a couple twins that are silent, that are the researchers, and they find out through various pieces of books, and even a little film from the scientists that Nine sees, that, well, what happened with this weapon and why things are the way they are. So now that this brain is activated, they're trying to figure out a way to battle it. And eventually they try to, blow up the facility after losing a couple of their friends. But unfortunately, this machine's very, very resilient and ends up, dispatching a couple more of them. But Nine figures out, wait a second, I need to go back to the source. That's what I kept being told. I need to go back. And then he figured out, through watching this film from the scientist, this talisman, this weird thing that he put on Brain, put on the brain, that is. It feels like saying put on Brain. It's like not even a complete sentence. That he can use that thing against it. Even though it powers it, if he can get it off, he can use it against it to destroy it, and hopefully save what is left of whatever they are, because there's no saving humanity. Maybe create a new world. And that's basically what ends up happening. The special effects and the animation are very top notch, even for 11 years ago. They put a lot of work into this. You can tell that there was a lot of care put into this, and it's from the same director. He directed the short version of this that was out in 2005, which I actually haven't seen. I probably should go back and watch at some point. So you can tell it's a labor of love, and you can tell with the cast, they were not just phoning it in, they were doing some good stuff here. And it really is a fabulous piece of work, from animation to tone and everything. And it is very, very short. In fact, this almost could have just been like a 40-minute movie, and they could have just made it, part of like an animated anthology or something like that. But they managed to stretch it out with some good pacing and some good action scenes, and the fact that, you get some robot death, you get some doll death, and, it's actually pretty goddamn graphic for an animated movie, a computer-generated movie, whatever you want to call it. And eventually everything gets wrapped up where they dispatch Brain, and even though they lost their friends, they free their souls, and then Nine gets asked what happens now, and he's like, I'm not sure exactly, but this world is ours. And okay, that's basically the end. I think they were maybe intending to make 9 2, maybe 9.5 weeks to. No, I'm kidding. Not make that, but I think maybe the intention could have been to make a sequel, but I don't know really where they would have gone afterwards. But this was a nice, good, easy movie to watch, even as dark as it is. But I will say, if you have kids, do not have your kids watch this unless they're 10 or above, because this movie would be a little bit jarring for young kids. That being said, very fun movie. And you can probably tell that I'm going to give this a pretty high grade. It's definitely going to get an A- because it is very goddamn good. I don't always grade my retro reviews, but yeah, a lot of them really are going to get some high grades. So yeah, A- for sure. Not perfect, but definitely great as far as the tone and everything. And it really sets itself apart from other animated movies at this time, and even ones that came after it. So anyway, agree, disagree, what I said, like, share, subscribe, Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Ritlin. I'll see you soon.